Hello, everyone. Welcome live to 3Y TV tonight's broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League right here from Gateway Raceway, just outside of St. Louis. You can see the beautiful Gateway Arch there off in the distance in the downtown of St. Louis. I'm Peter Short, and joining me in the booth, as always, is Bob Giaquinto. And Bob, great to be here at this very tricky egg-shaped oval. Definitely one of the more unique racetracks that we'll see on the schedule this year.
For sure, and not only is it unique, but it's a relatively flat racetrack, and that's not exactly something that you'd expect to see from watching races here on TV. But these are some flat corners and some very odd-shaped corners as well. A tighter radius between turns 1 and turn 2, but turns 3 and 4 is a much longer corner than expected. And another big challenge for some of these drivers is shifting. There's going to be doing some shifting between fourth and third gear in the corner, so this race is really going to be a tough time out there for these drivers tonight.
Yeah, that is definitely for sure. As we go on board here with Chris Stewart, driver of the number 49 machine, on a roll here this season. I got to say, he's been very, very quick. You can kind of see how unique these corners are, Bob.
Yeah, for sure. As we're coming out of turn number 4 right here, a very flat corner and flat out down this front straightaway here, crossing the start-finish line and getting ready to dive down into turns 1 and 2. Very hard on the brakes here, and going to be shifting right around this part of the track as you get back on the accelerator, heading down the backstretch. And right here on the right-hand side of your screen there is the truck cutaway for the haulers to come across the track, and you have to keep your eye out when you're coming down this back straightaway, and as to not get into somebody to get you into that jut out to shoot you across the track, and that would absolutely spell disaster for these racers tonight.
Yeah, that is for sure. We rode on board there with the number 49 machine. Chris Stewart, fastest man so far in practice here tonight, running a 34.148, just a couple thousandths of a second faster than Spencer Tart in the number 78 machine. Christopher Heller in the number 37, running there in third. Lupe Gonzalez and Jason Gracias currently running out your top 5, but going to do it for our practice session because we're going to jump over here into qualifying here in just a brief moment. And definitely one of, like I said, one of the more unique racetracks, like you mentioned, Bob. That egg shape to it is something that you don't often see, not only here on iRacing, but in NASCAR. Of course, the Cup Series, NASCAR doesn't come here, so definitely going to be fun to watch these Total Nonstop racing drivers in action here tonight. Let's see if we can catch one of them right there. That is the number 97, what am I saying, of Mike Floppy Tellier, working his way out on the racetrack. Very similar to the number 83 that we used to see in the Cup Series. That's what's throwing me for a loop right there, but Mike Floppy Tellier working his way off into turn number 3 and 4, and as you can see, a little bit wider radius in turn number 3 and 4. That allows the drivers to keep up a lot of speed, but Mike Floppy Tellier spinning it coming out of turn number 4, trying to get it straight. Now he's going to slam on the brakes, I would think, and return to pit. No, he's going to actually go to the start-finish line. That's a bit of a surprise. I would have expected him to return to his pit stall, and then that lap wouldn't have counted, but now that lap will count. Let's watch number 17 machine, Ben Izenga, on a roll in the series here, Bob. That NOS Energy Drink Toyota Supra here halfway down the back.
Yeah, 3 podium finishes back to back to back after finishing second last week to his teammate James Lorello at Talladega. He won back in Myrtle Beach, as well as winning on the road course in Montreal. So Ben Izenga on a bit of a roll, 2 wins so far this season and leading the points, and he's so far third place up on the board as he drops down to 4th.
Yeah, your reigning series champion, there he is, running the Max Graphics Toyota Supra, currently fastest in qualifying with 3 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. And I gotta say, Bob, you know, this is race number 7. We're 6 races into the championship at this point, and our reigning series champion, Jason Gracias, has been a little bit quiet so far this season.
Yeah, a little bit quiet so far this season. 4th place in points right now as they stand, but, you know, hasn't exactly been, lighting the series on fire like we had expected him to, especially after coming off such a strong season last year. But Gracias doing a decent job so far. Obviously, the provisional pole sitter as of right now, but I'm a little surprised that Gracias hasn't been up front, leading as many laps as we had expected to see him from last year.
Yeah, that is my thoughts exactly. Let's see if we can check in on this man right here, driver of the number 50. That is Bill Edwards in the S2R machine, one of the few S2R machines you'll see in tonight's race. Of course, Lorello and Izenga, a couple of those other S2R machines, but Bill Edwards is going to slot that number 50 currently into the top 5 in the 4th position. So we've got Izenga, Edwards, and Lorello, but as I say that, I believe Chris Stewart in the number 49 machine was just able to bump himself up there inside the top 3. There he is, putting that car off the racetrack. Let's see what's going on with the number 69 machine. That's Bobby Trapper right there, working his way now through turn number 3 and 4. That Fanatec number 69 mobile headed down the front stretch. What type of lap time can we see out of him as he comes to the start-finish line? He's going to jump up to... Well, I thought he was going to jump up. He actually stays in the same position. He turned a better lap time, but not able to improve on his lap, or at least his position. Mike Floppy Tellier, currently no lap time in for him. Here's the number 77 of David Harvey, who's been on a little bit of a roll here on the channel over the past couple of weeks. That Hisense Toyota Camry working his way through turn number 1 and 2, but he's going to have to pick it up on lap number 2 here, Bob. Currently being scored down in 17th.
Yeah, a little surprising there for the 77 of Harvey. In practice, his fastest lap was a 34.23, which if he ran that one there, he'd be starting 4th. So let's see here as he's coming off of I believe that's turn number 4 down the front straightaway. And let's see if that lap is going to be any better for him. Looks like Harvey's going to go P12 with a 34.406.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it will be pole for Harvey here tonight. We do have a new driver. Well, a new driver here in iRacing, but not a new driver to the league. It is the number 43 machine. Johnny Williams locks up the left front going off into turn number 3. But great to see Johnny back out here on the racetrack in TNR. Of course, one of the names who was synonymous with the series back in the NASCAR Racing 2003 days. And here making his iRacing debut. First time in over 10 years we've seen Johnny Williams out here on the racetrack, locking up the left front once again there on entry into turn number 3 and 4. Turn number 1. I think Johnny probably just has to kind of find what the car is capable of here, Bob, and kind of get back into the groove like he used to be.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just a matter of getting back on the horse and trying to relearn the cars. Obviously, things have been very different between the NASCAR Racing 2003 season game and the iRacing sim. But, good to see Johnny back out there on the track and competing with the TNR guys yet again.
That is for sure. Well, you can see we're already gridding here at Gateway, and starting on the pole is going to be none other than the number 1 machine. That, of course, being our reigning series champion. Excuse me. We talked about him being a little bit quiet so far this season. We'll see if he can turn that around here tonight as we go through tonight's starting lineup there, Bob.
Yeah, Jason Gracias on the pole with a 34.098, a blistering lap there, gets him on the pole. Second place right next to him, Ben Izinga in the number 17 machine. Taking a look at row number 2 on the inside, the 49 of Chris Stewart, and on his outside, the 78 of Spencer Tart. The S2R train continues here on row number 3 on the inside, the 50 of Bill Edwards, and on his outside, the 13 of James Lorello. In row number 4, the 7 of Garrett Gleason, starting in 7th, and on his outside, Philip Scott in the number 99. In row number 5, the 25 of Chad Mikos, and rounding out the top 10, the 47 newcomer Nathan Nicholson.
Yeah, then behind them on row number 6, also a league newcomer. That's the number 37 machine, Christopher Heller. You see him right there, and that number 37 machine right alongside him is David Harvey. Next row back behind him, that'd be row number 7, Jason Freeman on the inside with Tristan Maher to the outside in that number 98 machine you see right there. On row number 8, on the inside, DeMarco Starks, the number 14 machine. Andrew Himmelman in the 4 will make up row number 8. Row number 9, we got Bobby Trapper, number 69, with Tony Lucarelli. And rounding out your top 20 here tonight, Dustin Jones and Ricky Williams in the number 8 machine there, Bob.
Taking a look at row number 11, starting in 21st position, the 43 of Johnny Williams, and on his outside, the 97 of Mike Floppy Tellier.
Blistering lap there by Mike Floppy Tellier. 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Wow.
Yeah, just a blistering lap. I'm surprised he's that low down on the grid. Looks like he's going to give him a bit of an EOL penalty there, as he's going to let the rest of the field go by him. Yeah. Interesting play there by the 97.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get the rest of the field lined up for you here. A little bit of an issue. There we go. Lupe Gonzalez and Steven Doziak on row number 12. Vincent Valvano, Brian Rubel on the next row back behind them. And then on row number 14, the lone driver on that row, that's Stephen Kegman, rounding out your 27 car field here tonight. But we're watching the number 1 machine. That is Jason Grossi. It's going to lead us to the green flag here very, very shortly as they work their way through turn number 3 and 4. Going to be a fun one, I think, here tonight. Drivers really going to have to watch out for spinning coming out of turn number 4. We're going to see a lot of spins, I think, right here tonight as you see the run down to the green flag. Green flag in the flagman's hand, and we're about to go racing here tonight at lovely Gateway, St. Louis, Missouri, as you see the field getting underway off into turn number 1 there, Bob.
And a good jump there by the one of Jason Gracias, able to get just a nose out in front of the 17 of Ben Izinga, coming out of turn number 2, down the back straightaway, both leaders side by side as they head out towards turn number 3.
And this is the race towards turn number 3. Izenga and the number 17 is going to clear the number 1 machine as they go off into turn number 3. You see the rest of the field scooting on through, but there's the battle for the race lead. Look at the number 78. That's Spencer Tart trying to go around the outside in that Toyota throwback, but they finally get things sorted out. Single file now up at the front.
And before the race, I was watching Spencer Tart do some of the practice laps, and his shifting point is very different compared to the other drivers' shifting points. He almost will downshift in the third as he's getting onto the gears instead of slowing down. So a really interesting strategy there for the 78.
You are looking a little bit further back in the pack. That's Christopher Heller with the number 37 machine, a newcomer here to the Total Nonstop Racing League, and digging right now around Andrew Himmelman and the number 20 of Jason Freeman. This is back around the 13th position right now. The best side-by-side action on the racetrack is back there. Oh, contact the number 4 machine, and that's Andrew Himmelman. What a save out of that. But then a little bit of contact at the back end of it, and caution flag waves. Good job, though, I gotta say, by Andrew Himmelman. Even though there was that slight bit of contact, he did all he could to avoid any further contact than what we just saw. Let's see if we can catch this one on the replay here, Bob.
Yeah, it's looking like they're heading down into turn number 1, and the 37 machine just gets a little tap onto him, able to back off, and the 4 had it saved, but it looks like he was just trying to avoid the 98 of Tristan Maher, and able to keep the car all in one piece. But man, what a fantastic save there by Himmelman.
Let's go on board here with Andrew Himmelman. You see him cranking that wheel, kind of just letting it slide up the racetrack, and then it looks so good, and then just a little boink on the right front sends him around. Now, the big question in all this was Tristan Maher. We saw him have a moment, and do you think this was a little reactionary to what was going on behind him, or do you think he started going up the racetrack all by himself? I just got to believe that was because of the contact back behind. He probably saw in his rearview mirror and wanted to give as much room as possible to the number 4 machine. Unfortunately, it's that little contact right there at the back end of it. But good job there by the field to not make that worse than it needed to be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that really had a recipe for disaster with the 4 car spinning in front of most of the field. Everyone was able to get it woed down enough, and thankfully didn't pile into him here as we get a fantastic view from the back bumper of the 98 machine on the 4 wreck again. Just a great job by all involved to try to stay off him, and what a phenomenal save again by the 4.
Yeah, we're back live here as the number 17 of Ben Izenga continuing his hot streak here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, and he's got that number 17 out front over the number 78 machine. But folks, we got people in the chat here tonight. We got Tana Himmelman rooting on Andrew Himmelman, Ben Adams saying, "Hey guys, hey Ben, how's it going?" We got Steven Doziak Jr. in the chat, usually driving out there, and he is currently right back there in that Total Nonstop Racing Sim Shots Ford Mustang. So he was able to say hello before the start of the race. Hope all is well with you, Steven. WYRM saying good luck to the number 47 of Nathan Nicholson from Worms Driving School. So I'll just call you Worm from now on. Right early angle 2, rooting on Philip Scott. And there was a little bit of news about Philip Scott that came out. He's actually going to be in the next season of American Ninja Warrior. So if you watch that TV show, make sure you root on TNR's own Philip Scott, because big shout out to him, because he is always trying to compete for American Ninja Warrior and getting better. And of course, you can see right there, got ultimateninja.com or nationalninja.com, I think, on the back end of that. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. Why don't we? There you go, nationalninja.com. I thought it said Ultimate Ninja, but whatever. I mean, the Ultimate Ninja he is, getting into the next round of the American Ninja Warrior, so that's pretty cool. Ryder Langle says, and hopefully makes a trip back to the national finals like he did in season 11. Yeah, that would be really, really awesome to see that. So maybe he can get Twitter verified, because that would be cool. So we can have a little Twitter verified logo on his name. But anyway, the pace truck lights have indeed turned off, so that's a good news. We'll get set to go back to green flag. Lap number 7 it will be this time by Ben Izenga using the high line for the restart. We saw at the start of the race, Jason Gracias used a low line. He ended up losing the lead. This time, Izenga is going to use that high line, and he's already going to scoot away from Spencer Tart.
Yeah, a great jump there by the 17, able to get down in front of his teammate in the 78. Just a great jump, and I would assume that would be the preferred line as this race goes on. When you're restarting, leader has lane choice, and I would assume he would want to pick the top line, 9.9 times out of 10 for sure.
But you know what, you say that, but here comes Spencer Tart digging down there on the inside. We're side by side for the race lead here at Gateway. Coming out of turn number 4, working lap number 7 of 125. A little bit of a long race here tonight. Going to want to keep all 4 corners of your race car clean. But we are back under caution. Someone, I think, has just fallen foul of that keeping the car clean. We'll see exactly what happened here, and I believe it is the 43 of Johnny Williams. Might have had a moment coming out of turn number 4. Did he clip the wall? No, he just got loose, and oh man, heavy contact with the inside wall.
Man, just a tough break there for the 43 machine. One of our Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers before this race had started, just looks like got out of turn number 4, got sideways, a little too much gas underneath of it, and wound up making contact with the inside wall.
Yeah, let's see if we can slow this one down just a little bit, because it was all looking okay for Johnny. He's coming out of the corner, and it just snaps on him right at the back end of that. Just had a lot of weight on the right-hand side of the car, and it just came around, and that, like I said, pretty heavy contact, and he is already sitting on pit road trying to get some of that damage repaired. That is a big, tough break for Johnny, making his return to the Total Nonstop Racing League here tonight. Got Southern Sim Graphics on that number 43. But that's the second caution flag of the night. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on back up towards the front of the field. And folks, if you're in the chat and you haven't yet subscribed to 3Y TV, today we hit 750 subscribers, which was really cool and everything. And then someone decided to unsubscribe. So, if you are here and you haven't subscribed yet, and you want to be the 750, hey, we're back to 750! Woohoo! GG chat, GG. Yeah, I was really disappointed. We were just at that nice round number, like I told you, and Bob, at right at the start, and then all of a sudden we weren't, and I was like, man, what luck, right? Just when I went out on Facebook and said, hey, celebrate with us for our 750 subscribers, and anyway, we're back there. We really appreciate you guys subscribing. Tana Himmelman saying Ethan Drew's twins subscribe. Thank you, Ethan. If you're watching right now, we really do appreciate it as we continue to grow the channel. And of course, we grow the channel not only for our channel, but we grow it for the league. We want to get the exposure. We want to get the exposure to the sponsors like Thornton Graphix, the sponsor here tonight of the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, like Dunn Raceway Park, located up in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. The series sponsors, the people who help out each and every week on the channel, make these races possible on 3-Wide TV, because really the sponsors are the people who want to get their voices heard. These drivers, you and I know, Bob, we will, if there's a race and we're invited to it and we have the time, we will be there. We will be racing. But the sponsors are the people who are able to put this on a broadcast, and really, really thankful for them. So, and really thankful for all of you guys in the chat as well, enjoying, sitting back, and watching these virtual race cars work their way around Gateway. But 2 cautions in the first 11 laps. That's not the best start to a race, but good news is very minimal damage to all but Johnny Williams' number 43 machine. Hopefully Johnny can get back out there at some point later in the race. But at least for right now, we're about to go back to green there, Bob.
Yeah, as the field making its way slowly out of turns 3 and 4, pace truck lights just about ready to come off, and as he does, the field side by side slowly making their way down about 70 some odd miles an hour. Green flag is in the air, and a great jump by the front row, pretty much leaving everyone else in the dust. But now side by side, diving down into turns 1 and 2, Spencer Tard on the inside, Ben Izinga on the outside. Izinga on a bit of a hot streak, like we mentioned, coming into the races. He'll take the lead coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, you look back out the back of that number 17 of Ben Izinga at the number 78 of Spencer Tart, who put together the best restart we've seen all night. He just wasn't able to hang with Izinga through turn number 1 and 2, as you see the field pretty much get single file. I think the first side-by-side back there is back there around the number 47 machine, of Nathan Nicholson. There he is running side-by-side with the number 50. That's Bill Edwards, the S2R machine, and a good start so far for that number 47 machine here in Total Nonstop Racing League.
A really fantastic start, both he and his teammate in the 37. Right now, Nicholson cruising along in 7th place, side-by-side with Bill Edwards, and doing a good job holding his own so far now up to 6th, as he and the 25 Chad Mikos joins the battle as well.
Yeah, trying to check in on the biggest mover of the race so far. That would actually be the number 35 machine. Let's go back and check on the number 35. There is Lupe Gonzalez in that Chevy Camaro, working their way through turn number 1 and 2. Looks like they might have just gotten passed by the number 4 of Andrew Himmelman. Himmelman, I believe, has made a pit stop already, as you see some cars scattering near the back of the pack. Possibly some car making contact with the wall, throwing up some sparks. But Himmelman is on fresher tires here, Bob, and he's starting to make his way back up towards the front of the field. But remember, we do have tire limits here in the Total Nonstop Racing.
Yeah, only 3 sets of tires total, 2 in the pits and the one that you start the race on your car. So I'm a little bit intrigued to see why Himmelman chose to take tires so early in the race. Rather, I know he slid through turns 1 and 2, but because of that, he's really going to have to conserve tires. 125 laps now on this set of tires and one more. It's going to be really, really tough out there for the 4 machine. He's going to be fast now, but later on in the race, that might come back to haunt him.
Yeah, we're watching David Harvey here in the number 77 machine. As you see, another driver locks up their left front. We saw that a couple times in qualifying, but it's kind of carrying over into the race. You just got to think that these drivers are running a lot of front brake here, and I'm not all too surprised with that. You carry a lot of speed down the front stretch, and turn number 1 being so sharp. Contact between Philip Scott and Chad Mikos in that number 25 machine. Let's go back and get a look at this one here on the 3-Wide TV replay, but that was almost a big moment here going off into turn number 3.
Wow, here they are side by side coming down the back straightaway. And it looks like the 99 got in a little bit too hot, wound up running up the track, getting in the door of the 25, and kind of using Mikos as a bit of a crutch to get around the corner. Thankfully, no harm, no foul. Looks like everything is A-okay as they drive down now into turn number 3.
Yeah, and you see that number 99 machine of Scott there starting to struggle. He slid back to the 11th position, back behind Harvey, and here comes Jason Freeman in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevrolet. Right in front of the number 14, that is DeMarco Starks, and just behind them is the biggest mover of the race so far, Lupe Gonzalez, in that number 35. So a couple of drivers working their way up through the field, at least trying to at this stage of the race. Biggest mover of the race so far, well, that would be the driver who qualified in the 7th position. Lucky number 7 so far hasn't been all too lucky here tonight for driver of the Camping World Chevy Camaro, that being Garrett Gleason. There he is, that Robbie Gordon throwback. I remember when Robbie used to run Camping World on the hood of his cars, and he's working his way now out of turn number 3 and 4, trying to find a little bit of magic that he found there in qualifying.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Garrett has fallen this far back. He had a great run in qualifying, like you had mentioned, starting 7th. Currently now in the 22nd position, about 10.5 seconds behind the leader. Still plenty of time to go, but I'm a little surprised that Garrett's fallen back that far.
Yeah, hopefully he can find a little bit of that pace as we continue to watch this battle around the 10th position or so. We're watching DeMarco Starks right there. He was recently passed by Lupe Gonzalez, who picks up yet another position, trying to get around the number 99 of Philip Scott now in that blue and green number 99. But I'll tell you what, one thing we haven't mentioned here tonight, well, let's talk about two things we haven't mentioned here tonight while we're on the things we haven't mentioned page. One, there is one stage break here tonight. That will be on lap number 30. At the conclusion of lap number 30, we'll have a caution flag. Stage points will be awarded to the top 5 finishers here tonight, as well as the other thing, the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash. Bob, I think you've got those Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers lined up, so let's hear who they are tonight.
I do, and unfortunately one of them has already found trouble in this race. The 43 machine of Johnny Williams was one of the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers. There he is on your screen right now, just a few laps down. Unfortunately, running 25th as he gets a little tight and runs into the wall there. The next driver is going to be the 38 of Vincent Valvano. And Valvano had a great run last week at Talladega, got caught up in a wreck pretty late in the race, but Vincent is one of our Dash for Cash drivers, currently driving in 23rd. And the final Shibby Shack Dash for Cash driver will be the 69 machine of Bobby Trapper. And Trapper, again, another guy who had a good run at Talladega last week. Unfortunately, also got caught up in a couple of incidents. And right now, he's leading in the Dash for Cash position, at least, in 14th place. And showing a pretty good run so far tonight.
Yeah, you're right on board with him right now. Looking at the back of the number 14 machine, that is DeMarco Starks trying to make a move on Philip Scott. Scott here will slide back to... Oh, man, they get slideways, and that's Lupe Gonzalez up the racetrack as well. So a little bit of action out the front of the number 69 machine. Do you think maybe he found a green shell or something like that to fire at those 3 cars in front of him? I don't know, but all 3 of them having a little bit of a moment. But for right now, looks like the 99, Philip Scott, will hold on to that position. But Lupe Gonzalez has worked his way up to 11th as he continues his rise up through the field.
Yeah, a great run there by Gonzalez, and just constantly stepping up and stepping up. Gonzalez had a great practice in Montreal. I don't believe actually gridded to start the race. Last week at Talladega, actually wound up winning the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash with a, I believe, a top 10 finish. So just slowly improving is Gonzalez, as right now a pretty good battle raging on between the 99 and the 14.
Yeah, we're just watching this battle in case they start to get a little argy-bargy. I know we've seen that before, but a little bit further back, Tristan Maher back there in the number 98 machine. We saw him catch the wall earlier in the race. What about the number 4 machine of Andrew Himmelman? He was climbing up through the field. He started to slide back a little bit. There he is in the SimShots Ford Mustang. And I'm just curious to know if he's shifting or not. Some of these drivers, like you mentioned, are shifting here tonight. Other drivers might not be so comfortable shifting as we watch him go off into turn number 3 and 4. So let's watch that tachometer and listen to the revs out of that race car to see if he's shifting. Coming out of turn number 4, gets a little bit loose there. Able to keep it corralled. You see a side-by-side battle in front of him between Bobby Trapper and Christopher Heller. Now going off into the corner. Yes, he shifts down. You heard that those RPMs go up, down to about 4,500 RPM. Almost surprised he doesn't shift down again, back onto the front stretch. And that is a lap here around this racetrack as we're closing in on when we expect to see that stage break. There is the number 37, Christopher Heller, the next car right in front of him. New to the Total Nonstop Racing League here tonight, running his way on the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to get around Bobby Trapper. Like you mentioned, one of the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers here tonight, and so far is leading that train. Let's go back up to the front of the field because laps are winding down until we have that stage break, and as you can see, Izenga's got a little bit of an advantage up there in the race lead, but back behind him, Spencer Tart, Chris Stewart, Jason Gracias, James Orello. Those 4 cars are all pretty close to one another.
Yeah, those 4 guys right there, you can pretty much fit them under a blanket. And, right now the top 3 drivers are essentially the top 3 finishers from last week's race. Throw in Edwards and last week's winner, James Lorello, and that was pretty much our 1, 2, 3, 4. But a good battle going now for second. Chris Stewart hot on the heels of the 78 of Spencer Tart. Jason Gracias in there as well. So a good battle raging here with about a lap and a half until the stage break.
Yep, and as you can see, the 49 of Chris Stewart, they're rolling the bottom side of the racetrack really well. He gets on the loud pedal nice and soon and was able to just close in on the back bumper. Is he going to have a look here going off into turn number 1? No, he isn't. He's going to back out of it. But we only have about, well, actually 2 laps because it's at the conclusion of lap number 30. 2 laps until the yellow flag will wave and we will give out some stage points. But just notice a couple of those cars have starting to have a little bit of a wiggle out of the corner. And I don't think we'll see any drivers come down and take tires under this particular yellow. There's only 2 sets of tires on pit lane here tonight. So that's another thing these drivers have to think about is managing their tires. As here comes Chris Stewart. He's finally thought about making a move, trying to get to the inside of the number 78 machine off into turn number 1. Is he going to have a chance to roll the bottom of the racetrack? We've seen how difficult it is to pass down there here tonight. We saw the 78 try to get past Izenga, couldn't do it. And for right now, the 49 of Stewart's going to just slot back in line.
Yeah, right here is going to be his best chance. It's a very long corner, is turns 3 and 4. And really just a big finesse corner, but not quite able to do it as the 17 of Ben Izenga is going to win the stage. And let's see here. Good battle raging here as the caution comes out. And Ben Izenga the winner, and Tart just able to edge out Stewart.
Yeah, so Izenga, Tart, Stewart, Gracias, and Lorello, the 5 drivers who are going to pick up points under the first stage. Michael Valvano in the chat saying, good to have you back, Peter. Will Valvano win the Shibby Shack Dash for cash? Well, we'll have to wait and find out there, Michael. Great to have you in the chat here tonight. And yeah, great to be back. We had sub-zero temperatures in Texas. That should never happen. I want to say it was a week ago tonight. We had sub-zero temperatures, coldest I've ever experienced in my life in the state of Texas. And we had all the craziness that went down here with power outages and all that. So unfortunately, unable to be with you guys last week. Gotta say, Carlos Acosta and you, Bob, on the call, guys did a good job. I was in the chat listening through 4G because luckily I still had that. But meanwhile, out there on the racetrack, 2 drivers have elected to stay out. Dave Harvey and Mike Floppy Tellier. Meanwhile, every other driver is coming down pit road, and some of them are getting tires, but I don't think all of them are getting tires. Looks like Izenga is going to get on the loud pedal early. Not sure if that was no tires or 2 tires out of the 17. But we did see, I think, the number 49 machine of Chris Stewart. He decided to take tires. So kind of a mixed bag. And with only 2 sets of tires on pit road, he's probably starting to think about, Bob, that race kind of started to feel like it had that green flag feel to it. We'd been green flag for about 20 laps, and the way people were racing, they weren't really getting side by side with one another. So I think Chris Stewart is thinking we're going to get some green flag running here for the last 100 or so laps.
Yeah, and that really did have that green flag feel for that last segment. I mean, like you had mentioned, 20 some odd laps, green flag racing. Field started to get strung out just a little bit, but hopefully when we go back to green, that'll stay the course. And just a fantastic setup tonight for these cars out there on the track. Looks like it's a fun race for the drivers. Hopefully it's a fun race if you're watching us from home on 3 Wide TV. And a good one as well. Some side-by-side battles. And so far so good after stage 1.
Yeah, David Harvey, Mike Floppy Telly are the two drivers who elected to stay out. So we know they might be on at least less fuel than some of the cars behind them. Not sure about tires because Ben Izenga might not have elected to use tires. In fact, I think Chris Stewart's the first driver with tires back there around the 8th position or so in the 49 mobile. So we'll see how he's able to rocket up through the field, whether or not he can rocket up through the field in that race car. But you're looking at the current race leader. That is David Harvey, the Hisense 77 machine. We also have Hunter Engelhart saying just subscribed, number 751 and future driver. Get ready for a new sheriff coming to town. Hunter, welcome to 3 Wide TV. Sit back, enjoy the show, and you say you're a future driver. You're going to be a future driver here in the Total Non-Stop Racing League? Guess we'll have to wait and find out. Of course, we broadcast the National Sim Racing Association and also the American Sim Racing Series. They've been back in action for a couple of weeks now. Really enjoy the American Sim Racing Series here on Wednesday nights. They were on Tuesday nights last year. They're on Wednesday nights this year. So make sure you check them out. But also the National Sim Racing Association, the NSRA, they have races on Friday nights here on the channel, the Simbox Truck Series, and that season is coming to a conclusion. Of course, a couple of the drivers in that series also race here tonight in the TNR series. So a lot of good racing coming up here over the next couple of weeks on the channel. But of course, hopefully, like I said, you sit back, Hunter, and enjoy the show here tonight as we're working caution number 3. But it is the stage caution. Mike Floppy Tellier on the inside, Dave Harvey on the outside. And Harvey seems to have that preferred higher groove, but how will that work out for him here as we're about to get set to go back green? It might work out to his advantage, and I'm curious about that number 17 of Izenga on the inside line for this restart there, Bob.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we saw the start of the race, the one was on the inside, Izenga was on the outside, and Izenga didn't have as great of a launch as the one did, and it's looking like that outside line has a bit of an advantage when it comes to restarting here as the green flag is out. And let's see if the outside lane has the advantage. Looks like they do. The 77 of Dave Harvey able to lead the field down into turn number 1. And just like that, on the outside, the one of Jason Gracias able to clear the 97. And he'll come out of turn number 2 in second. As the 77 kissed the wall just a little bit. And that'll open the door for the 1 to get right alongside him as they head down into turn number 3.
Yeah, Gracias able to scoot around the outside, the pole sitter of tonight's race, sporting Max Graphics on the hood of that race car here tonight. Got to give a big shout out to Max Graphics here. Not only sponsoring that car, having a little bit of a new logo this week, and that was recently unveiled by Christopher Darling, the man who runs Max Graphics and one of the administrators over at the National Sim Racing Association that we broadcast here on the channel, like I just mentioned. And really good-looking hot rod. But meanwhile, back behind them, they're 3 wide. I think that's Nathan Nicholson right there. Looks like they were 3 wide for a second. They get things sorted back to 2 wide, but you don't often see that here at Gateway.
Wow, just a gutsy move there by the 47, throws it 3 wide down the back straightaway, somehow makes it work and able to get side by side at least before they head down into turn number 3. But man, just a gutsy move, and somehow was able to make it stick.
Yeah, able to make it stick. But speaking about making it stick, the number 17 of Ben Izenga and the number 49 of Chris Stewart just able to get it to stick around the number 77 of David Harvey. Harvey now has slid back to the 4th spot. Here comes the number 20 of Jason Freeman. Freeman was one of those drivers, did not have a good qualifying run here to start the night. He started all the way down there in the 13th position, now running up there in the 4th position as live timing and scoring updates. There it goes. Great start of the race for this Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevrolet, but they're really dicing it up further back in the pack.
Yeah, back in the pack, just side by side racing here. So it looks like just some really close racing coming out of turn number 2. And again, that's the 47 machine of Nathan Nicholson. Just kind of showing up and saying, hey guys, I'm here, making a statement, and putting himself on a pretty good race so far.
Yeah, we watched from the blimp cam as they race towards turn number 1. That number 37 you see is Nicholson's teammate, that being Christopher Heller, as they dive off into turn number 1. But how about the number 69 machine, Bobby Trapper, one of the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers. He's up inside the top 10, trying to go for 8th position right here. That is Spencer Tart holding on to that position. And Spencer Tart came down pit road, 9.4 second pit stop. So I don't believe he took tires at all. Meanwhile, the 69 and the number 35, both of those drivers elected to take 4 tires on their pit stop. So Bobby Trapper now up to 8th, trying to close in on David Harvey, in fact, the only driver in the entire field yet to pit. Trying to see what has happened to the number 97 machine, Mike Floppy Tellier. Oh, Floppy Tellier has fallen all the way down to 17th, so his gamble staying out, really not paying off here tonight.
Yeah, just a tough break. I'm a little surprised that they were able to stay out this early in the race. Maybe just a bit of a strategy call to say, hey, you know what, let's save the tires in the pits. Fuel, we're definitely going to see another caution before the opening of the pit window. So, maybe they're just playing a bit of a numbers game, a little bit of a gamble. Unfortunately, didn't quite pay off for them just yet, but there's still plenty of racing to go here, about 80 some odd laps until we see that checkered flag. So plenty of time, and anything can happen here with these Grand National Series cars.
And now you're watching Chad Maikos and Jason Gracias. Oh man, that was a little bit of a moment. Here comes Nicholson in that 47 Toyota Camry to the inside of Gracias, trying to pick up that spot. And Chad Maikos, he was one of those drivers who elected to take 4 tires under that last pit stop as well. So your front 4, Stewart, Freeman, Maikos, and Nicholson, as I missed the fact that Chris Stewart is your new race leader. The top 4 drivers all elected to take 4 tires under that last stop. Now, they only have one more set of Goodyear tires on pit road for the last 83 laps as they go across the start-finish line. So they're going to have to nurse their tires home, because we got 42 laps in the bag. Even if we were to split the race in half from this point, that means they have to go 41 laps on this set and 41 on the next set. So could be interesting to see exactly how it all plays out, but at least for right now, Chris Stewart is hoping to see more green flag running here tonight at Gateway, as he's up to a 1.5 second lead over the number 20 of Jason Freeman, who's able to squeak his way up into the top 2. There's Chad Maikos running right in front of that number 47 of Nicholson. And then Jason Gracias, he's the first driver who we believe has yet to change tires on his race car here tonight. Your reigning champion here of the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series here on 3Y TV in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Folks, 69, Bobby Trapper having a little bit of moment there coming out of turn number 2. Got a little bit loose, but was able to corral it. Side by side there with Christopher Heller, working their way off into turn number 3 and 4. Side by side, 37 goes up the racetrack, way up the racetrack, almost into the outside wall, but he's able to corral it, and he's going to get a good launch up off the corner and get that spot from the number 69. And here comes Lupe Gonzalez trying to pick up a spot.
Wow, just a bit of some extreme diamonding of the corner there. Little surprising to see that move. Definitely, or at least I'm assuming it wasn't planned to do that. But, it definitely worked there for the 37 machine, and a good battle now between Gonzalez and the 69 of Trapper.
Yeah, that was a good battle. They sort things out, so Gonzalez going to hold on to the 8th position, continuing to work his way up forward. He was one of those drivers who took on tires under that last stop. There's Christopher Heller trying to get around Ben Izenga. Izenga has not used a set of tires here tonight so far. He, just like Jason Gracias, holding on to 5th and 6th positions respectively. And for now, we don't really know how that's going to work out. They're going to need some cautions, but as of right now, once again, Grio, man, I just jinxed it. We got a car, I think a car around back there. Who would that be?
The 4 of Himmelman, it looks like.
Oh, the 4 of Himmelman. Let's see if we can get that. I saw a car just briefly go around, and I couldn't quite see who it was, but let's see if we can figure out if it was the 4 of Himmelman. Gets loose, into the grass, wall. Okay, just kissed it. No big deal. Get it back going, get it back on the pavement, and slam the gas. So, big moment there for Andrew Himmelman in the number 4 machine, but all things considered, once again, second time we've seen that number 4 machine with a moment here tonight. Able to just barely kiss that wall. Wow.
Yeah, I would say, if anything, that was probably the equivalent of just, kissing the wall coming out of 4, like, on a normal lap. But wow, just a great job of saving the car, not letting it get spun around, not letting it get sideways, keeping it off the wall for the most part, and just a little tiny peck on the wall there. But all things considered, looks like the 4 no worse for wear here.
Yeah, Andrew currently being scored down in the 20th position in that Sim Shots Ford Mustang. Let's go back up towards the front of the field because Jason Gracias and Ben Izenga have been caught by a train of cars, including Christopher Heller, Lupe Gonzalez, Bobby Trapper, and DeMarco Starks. So those 3 cars all on fresh tires, trying to get past the older tires of Gracias and Izenga, not able to do so just yet. DeMarco Starks there tagging on inside the top 10. In 11th position back behind them, it's actually quite a big gap from DeMarco Starks back to Philip Scott in the 99. There he is running in front of the number 78 Spencer Tart, another one of those drivers who's yet to change tires. So that'll be interesting to see exactly as Philip Scott there kisses the outside wall coming out of turn number 4. That was might have been a little bit more than a kiss on the right side of that number 99 Ford Mustang.
Yeah, just a bit of almost like a crunch coming out of turn 4 there. Was able to just kind of slap the wall, and just a tough race for the 99. We saw a little bit earlier, got sideways, got into the door of the 25 just before the end of the stage. So just a tough break here for the home track of National Ninja League. Obviously the National Ninja League 125 here at Gateway tonight. But just a tough race for that 99.
Yeah, a big shout for Heller in the number 37 machine. I've been watching this battle pretty closely between Gracias in 5th all the way back to Bobby Trapper. And we're starting to see a couple of these cars start to get a little bit loosey-goosey coming out of the corners. We were expecting to see that, and possibly expecting to see a little bit more than we have after watching what was going on in practice prior to the start of the race and prior to qualifying. But so far, these drivers able to keep it in check nice and neatly. There is the number 35. That is Lupe Gonzalez, the biggest mover of the race so far. Trying to close in on the back of the number 17 NOS Energy Drink machine of Ben Izenga. So far, Izenga has still led the most laps. He's led 30. In fact, he led every single lap of the first stage, but has yet to take on tires. And you can see those older tires a little bit worse for wear. But up at the front, Chris Stewart now up to a 4-second race lead.
Yeah, Chris Stewart, the tires are absolutely helping him, but one thing I will say, the pace of the 17 of Izenga, especially after not having taken tires, still able to hang up there in 6th position, doing just one heck of a job, able to not only stay strong, but keep running off some pretty consistent lap times. And, if this works out, he's still got 2 sets of tires in the pits. This very well could be another podium night for the 17 of Izenga.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Just needs a couple of cautions to fall his way. We saw Lupe Gonzalez there get around that number 17 mobile, so move that number 35 up into the 6th spot right now. Running right behind the Juana Gracias, your pole sitter here tonight. Just trying to hold on to those old tires in the number 1 machine as well. Meanwhile, up in front of him, the 25 machine, that's Chad Maiko's getting around the lapped car of Johnny Williams. And oh man, Williams heavy contact with the right side wall. That 43 machine probably not driving the way that Johnny was hoping it would after that heavy contact with the inside wall. And for all the people in the chat, if you get damage here in iRacing, sometimes it can damage your suspension, it can damage your engine, it can, of course, damage your aerodynamics. That one's a pretty obvious one with all the body damage you can receive, but you can get a lot of adverse effects after hitting the wall. And unfortunately for Johnny, I think it has been like that after being very, very good here on his league debut in qualifying, good in practice as well. Just things going awry very, very quickly. And I know I've experienced that myself in iRacing. And great to have Johnny back in the league. And I'm sure he will continue to learn and pick up the speed here as we work lap number 56. There goes Philip Scott. And I got to say one thing about Johnny Williams is he's throwing up the sparks here, being a little bit of a pyrotechnic.
Hey, you know what? That it's always good to put on a little bit of a show for the fans, but just a tough break here for the 43. Like you'd mentioned, everyone, has those kinds of days. That's pretty much what my day was earlier today in the Advanced Legends race here on the iRacing service. Just couldn't keep my car off the wall, and after a bit of a time, I just kind of said, all right, it's a little too damaged, and it's not really worth my time, but a great job there by the 43, keeping it going, and just logging laps, and at the end of the day, that's all you have to do. Just keep logging laps, and things will be better.
Speaking of logging laps, this man right here, Chris Stewart, has lost a little bit of time to Jason Freeman, but just logging laps at the front of the field so far has led 18 laps, as we have now got a good number of laps in since the last caution. In fact, that number getting close to 28 laps since our one and only stage break at lap number 30. But as I say that, Chris Stewart able to extend that lead. Now Jason Freeman closing back in. Sometimes iRacing timing and scoring is a little bit wonky, where it kind of balloons when it really shouldn't balloon, and that might be what we're seeing here. But for right now, that number 49 machine having a really good showing in his Toyota Supra over Jason Freeman. Of course, Freeman, no stranger to victory lane here on 3Y TV. Picked up a couple wins earlier this season in the National Sim Racing Association Simbox Truck Series, and trying to do so here again in the Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevy Camaro here tonight. But let's see if we can go back to the third position, because if Chris Stewart's 4 seconds behind Jason Freeman, well, you'll find Nathan Nicholson 4 seconds or so back behind Jason Freeman there in third. Lupe Gonzalez able to get around Chad Maikos in his climb up to the top of the charts. But meanwhile, back behind them, side-by-side battle, that's the 1 of Gracias, the 17 of Izenga. These two drivers have yet to come down and take tires, and they're trying to be the fastest of those drivers yet to take a set of tires. They only have 2 sets on pit road here tonight, but as these laps wind down, you'll think that the advantage starts to slip away just a little bit, Bob.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that advantage is right now the guys who had taken tires maybe starting to get those tires to wear off a bit, whereas the guys with the older tires are, used to the sliding around now and able to kind of cope, and the tires basically leveling themselves off here on the field, and good job so far.
We look a little bit further back. That's the 69 machine, Bobby Trapper. He's starting to slide back through the field in that car. Behind him is Bill Edwards in the number 50. And I believe Bill Edwards was one of those drivers, yes he was, who did not take tires under that first pit stop. So Bill's trying to move his way back up towards the top 10. We've really seen these tires start to even out at this point of the run. It's been 30 laps exactly, Bob, since we saw your leaders on pit road, drivers like Chris Stewart, Jason Freeman, Nathan Nicholson. We have seen David Harvey in the number 77. Remember, he was one of those drivers who did not pit under the first pit sequence, the stage break. Mike Floppy Tellier did not pit under the stage break. He has also made a pit stop. So while we were not looking at them, also Andrew Himmelman in the number 4 has made a pit stop as well. So Himmelman, Harvey, and Tellier all currently being scored more than 1 lap down as your race leaders actually start to lap some cars as well. We are down to 21 cars on the lead lap, and Stephen Kegman currently the last one running on the lead lap. You see Bill Edwards climbing up to 13th with that pass on Bobby Trapper. And let's check in on our other Shibby Shack Dash for Cash driver. That's Vincent Valvano, just 2 positions now behind Bobby Trapper. So Bobby went out there to an early lead in the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash, but it isn't always just a dash for the cash. Sometimes you have to long play it, and that might be what this number 38 machine of Vincent Valvano is doing here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the 38 has been doing a great job all season long, just staying consistent. He led a bunch of laps last week at Talladega. Really had some great laps that he put down in both Myrtle Beach as well as Montreal as well. So really just one of those long game kind of drivers where Valvano very, very consistent. Right now running 16th and having himself a pretty clean race.
Yeah, that is for sure. Definitely one of the drivers you cannot count out, Vincent Valvano. He definitely seems to have certain racetracks where everything just clicks for Vinny. And, you know, this is a racetrack, it's a difficult one. This is a racetrack that isn't suited for every driver. Some drivers love this place, other drivers absolutely hate it. I think it is one of the racetracks that is so driver dependent. And it might not be the right track for Vincent Valvano. I know this racetrack and I just don't get along at all. But with that being said, you know, you'll find those racetracks that are your crux, and it just happens. That's how racing is, folks. I can't explain it, but you have good ones, you have bad ones, and you just chalk it up to your driving style and whatnot. But it looks like we have one car going on pit road. Was that the number 43 machine that might have been headed down pit road? It doesn't look like it was the number 43 machine. Was it the number 1 machine headed down pit road? No, it was not. It looked like a red car headed down pit road. So we'll see. Oh, okay, so we do have cars on pit road. One is Ben Izinga, and the other one was the 78. So the one that I actually saw was the number 78 is Spencer Tart. There he is. You can see why I kind of got confused with the number 1 machine of Jason Gracias. But those two cars, the 17 and the 78, coming out to their pit box as we are now well into the second half of the race.
Yeah, some pit stops now, green flag pit stops, and this really is where the make or break is going to be. I know for me, especially when I was out there just practicing the setup to see what these drivers are going to be facing tonight, the big thing is you have to remember pit road entrance is right there as the 49 goes across your screen. It's right there entering turn number 3 instead of the typical exiting turn 4. You get down and get onto pit road. You have to take that access road. So that's another thing these drivers are going to have to remember as this race goes on during green flag pit stops is, I mean, heck, even where the entrance to pit road is located, because I could definitely see that being an issue. It's an issue in real life when the Camping World Truck Series comes here to Gateway. So it's, you know, that's going to be a tough one as this race goes on.
Yeah, that is for sure. But for right now, Chris Stewart, 6-second race lead. I'm sure he is not watching his rearview mirror at all, just focusing on hitting those laps, lap after lap after lap after lap, finding your rhythm, finding your groove. And let's see if we can go on board with the current race leader in that number 49 machine as he is closed in on Mike Floppy Tellier. And Tellier was one of those drivers who just came off pit road, and now Chris Stewart jumping down to the inside of that number 97. You think Mike Floppy Tellier's night definitely not going to plan right now.
Yeah, definitely not. It all started out with a bit of a bobble coming out of 4 for qualifying, and it ended with a 4-minute and change qualifying lap. So it's just a not exactly the best night there for that 97 machine.
So we'll keep an eye on things. It has been 38 laps since Chris Stewart was last on pit road. You're right on board with him right here. And why don't we see if we can turn it up just a little bit as we ride on board with him here. Oh, well, we were going to, but I take that all back because he's coming down pit road. So we were going to crank it up a little bit, but we are going to crank it back down here on 3 Wide TV because we got pit stops coming down. The number 49 machine, your race leader, a 6-second race lead. And he's going to come down and hit that pit road speed. You can see right down there, 45 miles an hour coming to his pit crew. Long pit road this one as well, especially with that access road that you have to watch out for on entry. Very easy to get that access road incorrect and mess it up as he is going to finally get into his pit box nice and neatly. Good job for Chris Stewart. We'll see how everything cycles on out. But for right now, I do know the number 47 machine, there he is. That is Nathan Nicholson. He is the race leader right now here at Gateway. Will he come down pit road? Well, he didn't come down pit road this time. He's going to try and go one more lap here around this racetrack.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how big this the fuel window is here for these cars. Right now we're on lap 72. They were last in on lap 31, so about a 30 some odd lap pit window for these cars, and looks like the 47 is gonna head down pit road right now. And this is a really tough pit road entrance. It's very flat, so it's easy to spin your car out when you're down on this access road. So a great job there by the 47, coming in hot. Has to really slow it down till you get to those yellow pit road entry markers, and he's on pit road now.
Nathan Nicholson, Christopher Heller, Philip Scott on pit road. Steven Doziak in the number 55 machine. There he is. He's going to inherit the race lead as he flashes on by those cars on pit road. So we'll see just how long it will be until he's on pit road himself. But Dustin Jones in the number 39 machine, haven't really talked about him here tonight. There he is. He is now up to the second spot in that Chevy Camaro. Ricky Williams also still out there on the racetrack. There he is. So 3 cars still around the racetrack. As you can see the numbers at the top of the screen, laps since pit. You will see those numbers really start to change here. Looks like Ricky Williams is coming down. Steven Doziak, he's on pit road. There he is. Dustin Jones also coming down. So that will give the race lead back to that man right there, the number 49 of Chris Stewart, working his way around the racetrack. So we'll see how everything sorts out. But to answer your question about the pit window, this driver right here, he only went about 39 laps or so. So with 51 laps to go this time by, they will have to come down pit road at least once more here tonight, which will be interesting to see because I would expect the 49 machine to be out of tires now. He won't have the benefit of having those tires for later in the race. So he's going to have to go to the end of the race on this set of tires that he's currently on. We know that's doable with some of the other cars that have done so here tonight, but he doesn't have that benefit like drivers of the number 1 at Gracias, like the number 17 of Ben Izenga. And speaking of Izenga, Izenga is up to second again here. Bob, that is really impressive for the number 17 NOS Energy Drink Toyota Supra.
Yeah, really. I mean, he's been having a phenomenal race all race long. Led a bunch of laps in the beginning of this race and just kind of cut his way up through the field. Now running in the second position here after getting some little bit of a heat from the 20 of Jason Freeman there behind him. But really just a fantastic race by that 17 machine of Ben Izenga for, the 4th race in a row now.
And the lap since pit at the top of the screen, you will see that Ben Izenga pitted about 5 laps before Chris Stewart. So he's had 10 laps on his tires. Compare that to a couple of the cars around him. So he's on slightly older tires. That's going to work against him here. But with 50 laps to go, we know he has to come down to make one more pit stop. And when he does so, he can come down, he can take tires. Presumably he will make that pit stop with about 30 laps to go, which will be able to get him to the checkered flag, no question. And so he'll be able to use the 4 fresh Goodyear tires still sitting on his pit box. So going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. Jason Freeman back there does have the number 39 machine. That is Dustin Jones. First car currently 1 lap down, trying to pick up that Max Graphix Lucky Dog Award here tonight if he can swing it. But he's going to need a caution flag to pick up that Lucky Dog Award. So far, we haven't seen one since lap number 30 here tonight. So that is 48 laps now since the caution flag last was thrown out onto the racetrack by the flagman. And really, we love to see that. We want to keep it going. There's 48 laps to go. We've got 48 laps down. Can we go another 48 laps without a caution? Hopefully we can here on the channel. If you're in the chat, make sure you make yourself heard. We love having each and every one of you here on 3 Wide TV, sitting back and enjoying the action here tonight at Gateway in the Total Nonstop Racing League, the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, and the National Ninja League 125. And Worm saying, oof, well, a good effort, number 43, holding it as long as you did. Johnny, don't be discouraged. I'm sure you'll be back next week, and you'll figure it all out. But yeah, sometimes, getting a little bit of damage on the race car, it can really wipe out your night. We do have Tana Himmelman saying, I'm here in the chat. Well, there is the number 4 of Andrew Himmelman out there on the racetrack, currently being scored about 15.5 seconds behind your race leader, Chris Stewart. Just in lucky number 13 position, right in front of the number 14 of DeMarco Starks, who is the 14th place car, number 14. A bit lucky there for DeMarco Starks. I always love when you see a car running in the same spot as its number. Back behind him, you got Bobby Trapper. Where's Vincent Valvano? Bobby Trapper's 15th. Vincent Valvano, there he is down in 20th. Racing with Nicholson there in that car. Did something happen to Nicholson? No. Vincent Valvano is currently being scored 1 lap down. That is the story with that one. And his Ford Mustang, there goes James Lorello and the number 1 machine of Jason Gracias. A couple of those other cars. And looks like Gracias has a move possibly on the number 13 machine here going off into turn number 1.
Yeah, good battle here as the 1 takes a look on the inside of Lorello. Lorello has a little bit better of a position, but the 1 looks to try to get a better run coming out of turn number 2. He does, but the 13 just a little bit better, and he's able to pull away as they dive off now into turn number 3. About a 0.183 second gap. And just able to kind of keep it there, but the 13 little wiggle coming out of Ford opens the door for the 1 of Gracias now to make a move looking to the inside as they head off into turn number 1.
Yeah, that was a big wiggle out the back of that number 13 S2R Chevy Camaro, but Lorello's going to hold on to it. Very, very impressive from Lorello to just dive it into turn number 1 and hold on to that position, at least for right now. But you could see from the lap times, Gracias has been closing in on Lorello in that number 13 Chevy. So Gracias here on a little bit of a move in the Max Graphics Supra, trying to pick up some spots. Remember, he was the pole sitter at the start of the show. 43 laps to go. He has quite a few positions to make up. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, we have a new race leader. How did that happen? Ben Izenga has just taken the race lead from Chris Stewart. Izenga has led 31 laps here tonight. Let's try and figure out exactly how that all went down.
Yeah, it looks like the 49 of Chris Stewart got into the corner just a little bit too hot. And, just as we were saying, the 13 had a bit of a wiggle coming out of the corner. That's exactly what happens here to the 49 as we're looking on board right now on the 17 of Izenga. He's going to just get a big run heading down the back straightaway. And they're side by side, and 49 just kind of says, all right, go ahead. You're faster than me. Still plenty of racing to go. And go ahead, Ben. You take the lead.
Yeah, you talked about that wiggle out of the number 49 machine. Let's look at this wiggle because you see him get completely sideways there, still trying to chase that car, and that's really what allowed Izenga to close in on the back bumper of the 49 machine. So Izenga, a real big advantage right now because Izenga, we know he's got that extra set of Goodyear tires on pit road. And you know what? I take that back because Chris Stewart in the number 49 machine, he didn't take tires under that last pit stop. I take it back. So Chris Stewart in the 49 machine, he has an extra set of tires on pit road, but what he is losing right now is a lot of time to Ben Izenga, who's on those fresher tires. So now all of a sudden you're looking at Izenga, who's on right now about almost 20 lap old tires versus Chris Stewart, who's on 50 lap old tires. So that'll make a difference. That will definitely make a difference. It's also allowing drivers like Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine to actually close in on, oh man, look at this gaggle of cars. That's the 13 of Lorello, the 20 of Freeman, the 1 of Gracias, all together out there on the racetrack. You could really throw a blanket over those 3 as Gracias tries to get around the number 20 of Freeman.
Yeah, here comes Gracias now, taking a look to the inside. And just a great race out of the 1 of Jason Gracias. Right now he's in, I believe, 3rd place in points coming into the race tonight. Was looking to get a good, solid run here to try to pick up the pace and pick up some more points on these points leaders. Ben Izenga, your points leader, coming into the race, but some side-by-side racing with the 13 of James Lorello.
Yeah, Gracias on the inside, just unable to get the power down to power it up off of turn number 2. So Lorello continuing to hold on to that spot This is just so frustrating if you're Jason Gracias right now. You know you're faster than the car in front of you. You just cannot seem to be able to get that move, as you see David Harvey on pit road right there in that Hisense machine. But you just can't quite get the power down where you need to get the power down, because this racetrack doesn't have a lot of grip down there on the inside groove, as caution flag has come out. So that will change everything. We'll try and figure out what the caution flag is for. Not seeing anything just yet.
Interesting. I know the 55 got into the wall just as Izinga was getting around him, but I don't think that would be enough to warrant a yellow flag coming out.
Trying to see if we have anything that might have brought out the yellow. I gotta keep my eyes on the lights to see when the lights turn yellow. I think the lights have turned yellow. So, let's start this one out. Maybe. Okay. Something happened with the number 20 machine. Here we go. Watch number 20 of Jason Freeman here. Got Spencer Tart, and there's a bamp to the rear bumper of that number 20, and Freeman was able to corral it. Great save out of the number 20, but was slideways enough that iRacing elected to throw the caution flag here with 37 laps to go. So we'll get another look at that one here on the channel. We'll slow it down. You see the number 78 getting into the back of Freeman, and Freeman going for a ride there, but somehow able to save it and didn't lose a lot of positions. That's the good news for you Jason Freeman fans in the chat.
Man, just from the hosted races that I've been in, if I was in that position, I probably would have had, well, the next 3 cars behind me pile into the back of me as I'm trying to save it here. But what a great save. Look at that wheel cocked all the way to the right, just drifting it around the corner and able to somehow bring that car going the right way. And man, just another fantastic save tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely a good call. Now, we did have some split pit strategies on pit road, folks. Chad Maiko's in the 25. He elected to stay out, but he's going to come down pit road this time. Andrew Himmelman, he is elected to stay out, period, in the number 4 Mustang. But then we got some other drivers like Jason Gracias who elected to come down. Gracias, there he is. I don't think he used his set of tires. I think he came down and didn't use a set of tires. Ben Izenga, number 7. Whoa. Ben, what are you doing there, bro? Going down pit road. Was that the 49 machine coming down pit road? It was. So some of these drivers, I'm wondering if they think that maybe, just maybe, this might get them in the window where they can make it to the end of the race. So we're seeing some drivers like the 49 machine here, Chris Stewart, come down pit road not once but twice.
Yeah, and that very well could be. We've seen Chris Stewart have to pit after about 39 or so laps of green flag racing. 35 laps to go now. This very well could be the money stop. And we saw it last week in Talladega during the yellow flag laps. Just keep coming down and just trying to keep that fuel tank filled and pack it as much fuel as possible to try to go all the way. And in case there's overtime or something along those lines, you're able to make it all the way on fuel.
And then you have drivers like Andrew Himmelman who might be thinking, you know what, I don't think I can make it on fuel from this point, period. So why lose that track position? Or in the case of Andrew Himmelman, why not gain all that track position, right? Because he knows that he's going to have to come down pit road, or he thinks he's going to have to come down pit road at least once more here tonight. And by staying out, he knows that he can go another 5 to 10 laps, get inside that window, and then go to the end of the race in that SimShots Ford Mustang. So kind of an interesting strategy call for Andrew Himmelman. Got Nathan Nicholson to his outside there in the number 47. So those two will be on the front row for this restart. number 1 machine, Jason Gracias, Philip Scott. Row number 2, Christopher Heller, Ben Izenga. Row number 3, we'll be keeping our eyes on the number 17 machine here, Bob, because Izenga's the first car on 4 fresh tires here when we go back green with 33 to go.
Yeah, I'd really be interested to see what he's going to do there. A little bit back in the pack there on the outside row of row number 3. So he's got 5 other guys with some old tires in front of him. And, man, this is going to be interesting. Fresh tires versus old tires versus ancient tires if you're the 4 car, because the 4 was able to stay out. So this is going to be a really, really interesting restart here. And we'll see. I mean, cautions tend to breed caution, so who knows? Maybe we're not done with restarts quite yet, but the pace truck pulls off and the green flag is out, and a great jump on the restart there by the 4 of Andrew Himmelman. Himmelman's going to dive off into turn number 1, but hot on his tail is going to be the 47 of Nathan Nicholson, and Jason Gracias in there as well. And look at that, Ben Izenga already up to 4th. As he challenges to the inside of Jason Gracias.
Yeah, here comes Izenga. You see some sparks being thrown a little bit further back in the pack. I do think that this will get these drivers into the window where they can go all the way to the end of the race. I mean, Andrew Himmelman, he has 38 laps on this stint. You'd expect to see Himmelman on pit road very, very shortly. Both of my lifetime and scoring apps say it's been 38 laps since he was on pit road, but for right now, that number 4 machine trying to hold on to the race lead. But here comes Izenga, those 4 fresh tires working his way, coming out of turn number 2. Ben Izenga back up to the front, so far leading 38 laps. It will be 39 laps led this time by. Only one driver has led more laps here tonight, that being the number 49 machine of Chris Stewart. But now all of a sudden, Andrew Himmelman has a log jam behind him, because here comes the 47 of Nicholson, the 1 of Gracias, and whoa, big moment there for the 1 of Gracias. Big wiggle out of turn number 4, but he gets it corralled back up. We stay green here at Gateway, tight, running off into turn number 1 and 2.
Yeah, side by side here, coming out of turn number 2. Andrew Himmelman right there, getting things a little bit bunched up right behind him, as the 1 of Jason Gracias right there, able to get nose to tail single file. But looking at this battle now, James Lorello with a huge run heading off into turn number 3. As Lorello sitting there just looking to the outside. He's now side by side with Spencer Tart. And a good run there from last week's winner at Talladega. James Lorello currently 6th and looking to pick up some more spots here.
Yeah, he's digging around the high side, that is for sure. Oh, contact with the 20 of Freeman. Freeman once again, and oh, the 69 machine with a big wiggle back there. Boy, oh boy, they get things sorted out, but that was Bobby Trapper who had a little bit of a moment. We'll go back and get this one here on the replay.
Man, looks like just Trapper got a little bit squirrely there. There's Vincent Valvano just ahead of him. And coming out of the corner, yeah, looks like he just got a little bit too sideways. Able to corral it in and keep it straight, but man, a tough moment there as now we see the replay between the 13 and the 20 getting a little bunched up there as well.
Yeah, we're back live. The 99 of Philip Scott pounds it off the outside wall coming out of turn number 2, and we stay green out of all this. These cars beating and banging like it's Bristol or Martinsville, but here we are at Gateway. This racetrack notorious for being fairly single grooved here in iRacing, very difficult to pass, and we're seeing some of that. I think end up being a little bit of chrome horn, and oh man, Spencer Tart there diving it off into the turn number 1. I thought he was going to collect James Lorello going off into the corner, but was able to get it woed up. Definitely one of those racetracks where different drivers have different braking points, and that's something you really got to watch out for. Here comes Freeman trying to get around Gracias as they're too wide going off into the corner. Looks like Freeman's got him.
Yeah, Freeman has the position here. Here's James Lorello now on the inside of Jason Gracias as well. So knock Gracias back one more position. Still in the top 5, but now side by side here, Spencer Tartan. We've seen that difference in braking position a little bit earlier. It's actually what caused this last caution there, with Spencer Tart has a little bit deeper braking point, got into the back of the 20 of Jason Freeman. Freeman had gotten sideways there, able to corral it. Still, caution came out, and that's what had happened there. So again, just a little bit of a difference in braking point between those two cars, and just a bit of a coming together.
We are getting word that Andrew Himmelman in the number 4 Sim Shots Ford Mustang, he has been on and off pit road, so we know that he is for sure good to the end of the race in that race car. So, but currently being scored 1 lap down right now in the 20th position, trying to run down Ricky Williams right there in front of him in the Z1 leaderboard machine. That is a side-by-side battle for position for the 19th spot right now, but caution flag has waved. David Harvey appears to be in the lucky dog position. That's good news for David, but let's see if we can figure out what the caution might be. And we have one car sitting on pit road who is just not on pit road, so I'm going to see what happened to this car, and I'm going to assume that it was this car. The number 13 of Lorello. Oh, blown motor there in the number 13. Possibly some of that damage we saw on that Chevrolet Camaro, and a big puff of smoke. Bunch of oil laid down through turn number 1 and 2, and James Lorello Knight goes no further. And I just got to think maybe that's from that contact a couple of laps ago between himself and the rear of that number 20 machine. Let's watch this car as he goes off down the front stretch. Just wait for that engine to blow. You see it. You can just look at that tack. Just lose about 1,000 RPM, and he just had nothing. That was it. 0 power on the number 13. Lorello's Knight, last week's race winner, goes no further, Bob.
Yeah, just a tough break. Last week's winner, like you had mentioned, Peter, and was having a pretty good run here so far tonight. It was a top 5 car, top 10 car pretty much this entire night, but then unfortunately a big kick in the pants there as the 13's engine expires, and that'll pretty much spell the end of the night for him.
You see David Harvey there picking up the Max Graphics Lucky Dog Award, so he will be back onto the lead lap. That's good news for him. He'll put us at 16 cars on the lead lap, which is actually a little bit surprising, I gotta say, Bob, for the green flag runs we've had. Definitely shows how awesome this series has progressed to have more than 16 cars on the field. Let's just be honest. I mean, last season, we started off there and continue to grow as the season goes on, and here this season, 27 cars here tonight, mid-season at Gateway. Not one of the more popular tracks in iRacing. Let's be honest. Like I said earlier, this racetrack polarizing. You either like it or you hate it. This is one I've never really found someone who's in between. Like, it's okay. Just no one. No one's that way. So really awesome to have 27 cars here tonight in the Thornton Graphix Cup for the National Ninja League. 125 here tonight. 125 laps here around Gateway. Just not too far away from the Gateway Arch here in St. Louis. In fact, let's see if we can get a look at the Gateway Arch. There you go. And a whole bunch of people taking pictures of not 100% sure what. As, I guess the pace cars. There's a pace truck. I guess the cars are going by. That's what they're taking pictures of. Don't think they're taking pictures of us up here in the box. Yeah,
definitely not. More of a face for radio, for me at least.
I gotta say, probably neither for me. No radio voice, no presenter's face, nothing. Zero, zilch. So, anyway. Hope I can entertain some people here on 3Y TV. 22 laps to go this time by under caution. In fact, let's bring up the race summary if you're just now joining us for the first time here tonight, because we had some great green flag running there in the middle of the race. We had a couple of cautions there in the first 30 laps. We had 3 to be exact in the first 30 laps, and then we had a long spell of green flag running. Green flag pit stops right there in the middle of it, and then over the last 10 laps or so, we've had 2 caution flags come out. But Ben Izenga, fastest lap of the race in the number 17 machine, comes into tonight as the points leader and has led 47 laps here tonight. The only other driver to break 10 laps led was the number 49 machine of Chris Stewart, who has led 40 laps here tonight. So that number 17 still hasn't locked up the most laps led with his now 48 laps led as he goes across the start-finish line. How many times can I say laps led in a single sentence? I don't know, but caution lights are off, so we're going to get set to go back green here with 21 laps for a good old shootout here on the channel.
Definitely, and I'm kind of looking back now in that third row. The 49 machine of Chris Stewart, like you had mentioned, led a whole bunch of laps after the stage break here. Had a little bit of a moment getting sideways. Izinga was able to get around him, but look at him now. He's been slowly digging away after pitting during the last caution to take some tires and was on pit road for a little bit longer, currently in 5th place right there. Look for him to start cutting his way up through this top 5, hopefully maybe putting in a bit of a challenge now on that 17 of Izinga, but looking out front, Jason Freeman, another guy who's been hovering around that top 5, top 10 all day. Right now, starting front row on the inside, it's going to be an interesting one here as the pace truck gets ready to pull off and the field will go back green.
Pace truck heads down pit road. The number 17 machine, Ben Izinga, has the race in his hands, waiting for the flagman to throw the green flag. There it is, and out to a huge jump. Spencer Tart going with him up at the front of the field. Spencer Tart up to second, and look at Bill Edwards in the number 50 machine, one of those drivers we haven't mentioned much of here tonight, trying to dig for third.
Edwards digging for third right now in 4th, as a good battle right behind him between the 47 machine of Nathan Nicholson and Philip Scott, side by side there for about 5th position. But right now, here's Spencer Tart battling it out now on the 49 machine of Chris Stewart on the inside. Having a good run so far. Stewart down in 6th. Didn't really make much of a pickup there on the opening green flag laps. But, right now it's just a matter of falling back into that rhythm, trying to pick up spots. 20 laps to go, and right now is go time.
Yeah, we're looking a little bit further back. There's the number 1 machine of Jason Gracias. He was, I think, one of the drivers who elected to come down pit road here just a minute ago. And looks like he is now slicing and dicing his way up through the field. Let's see if we can go on board with him right here in the number 1 machine. Got Chad Maikos right in front of him. There's the number 99 Philip Scott there just outside the corner, right-hand side of the screen. And the number 1 of Gracias, he's on fresh tires now, folks. He saved a set of tires right here for the end of the race. He's got now 7 cars in front of him to the point. Could that move to save those tires be a good call here for Gracias? We just have to wait and see. And that Max Graphics Toyota Supra started on the pole here tonight. He wants to finish this race right where he started, and that would be P1 as he tries to get up to the 25 of Maikos, but Maikos slams the door on him.
Yeah, and we've seen the one of Gracias do that in previous races. It almost worked out for him really well at both Myrtle Beach and at Homestead earlier this season, where he saved an extra set of tires for the last shootout, and unfortunately just ran out of time with some cautions and other bad luck. But so far, right now, it's looking like he's that strategy is going to pay off here as he goes to the inside of Maikos. This for the battle for 7th place, and makes pretty easy work of the 25. Now he sets his sights on the 47 of Nicholson.
Yeah, and he got a big run on that number 47 machine. Now turn number 1 is not really where you want to make a pass as the 50 machine up in front. There might have been a little bit of contact, and I think there was a little bit of contact. His caution flag comes out. There was Jason Freeman and the number 50. Man, Jason Freeman has been absolutely been out there and has been like a bumper on a pinball table. There's another little boink, and Bill Edwards spinning the number 20 machine around. Luckily, no further damage to the number 20 Freeman, but losing all that track position. That is a tough break for driver of that Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, again, just another tough break. And like you had mentioned, he's really been out there kind of acting as the bumper for other cars. We saw the 78 get into him pretty much at that exact same spot earlier in the race. Now the 50 getting into him here. Just a hard-fought race there for that 20 of Freeman.
Now, what I want to show here, and this is going off into corner in the 3-wide TV slooper. Slooper? Is that a word? Super slow-mo. Maybe we can make the slooper slow-mo a thing. But watch that number 50 down there on the inside line. It seems like it just stops turning all of a sudden. He's going into the corner here fine, but watch as he hits this black strip right there. It just seems like all of a sudden the car just stops turning and it starts moving up the racetrack, keeps on moving on up, and you can kind of see just can't hold on to that black strip that's right down there. So I'm not sure if that's a seam or something, but there just doesn't seem to be any grip on that portion of the racetrack, and unfortunately right up into the number 20 of Freeman, and Freeman goes around right there in front of the number 49 machine. Tough break for Freeman. He's going to be scored well back right now, being scored in the 16th position. Running right there behind Stephen Kegman in the number 22. Kegman is 1 lap down. The lucky dog under this caution flag brought to you by Max Graphics was that man right there, Andrew Himmelman, getting back onto the lay lap. 15 laps to go. Just how far can the SimShots driver climb up through the field? Not 100% sure, but it hasn't been exactly the night Andrew Himmelman was hoping for here tonight, Bob. Started 16th, been running 17th. He had that brief spell up at the front of the field after a little bit of pit strategy, but he had fallen all the way back. He'd come down. He was a lap down with his pit stop. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how far through the field he can make it. At least right now, things not exactly looking like they're in his favor.
Yeah, certainly not. I mean, had some troubles earlier on in the race, spun around a couple of times. Able to keep the car clean for the most part, at least, especially after those spins. But, just a tough night there for the 4, and I'm sure he's sitting there looking at the laps to go and saying, all right, 14 to go, I can do this, thank goodness. And let's just get ready to move on to next week's race.
Yeah, that is definitely for sure. Definitely hopes to get to next week's race. And let's speak about next week's race, because we have some great races coming up here in the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series, because the next one is actually an exhibition race at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. There's some money on the line next week. I think about an $80 prize pool for next week, and that might grow throughout the week. Open to drivers of the Total Nonstop Racing League Grand National Series, as well as the Dirt Series, the DRP Big Block Modified Series, sponsored by Dunn Raceway Park, that the Total Nonstop Racing League puts together. So all those drivers can race next week. Coca-Cola Super Speedway, like I said, is an exhibition race. I think it's going to be, I want to say about 100 laps, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong in saying so. Of course, no restrictor plates at the Coca-Cola Super Speedway, but it is a 3-mile racetrack, so that will definitely be a wild one here on 3Y TV, so make sure you tune in for that one right here next week. Ben Izenga, number 17, NOS Energy Drink Machine, going to lead us back to green. Got the number 78 there, Spencer Tart to his inside. But some hard chargers there on the second row. Bill Edwards in the 50. Got the 49 at Chris Stewart. We've seen him be fast here tonight. And rounding out your top 5, Nathan Nicholson making his debut here tonight in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Great run for that number 47.
Yeah, the 47's been really impressive. We've seen him throw it 3 wide there a few times in the race, just trying to get positions down the back straightaway, and really has been up front for most of this race. And a really impressive debut performance there for the 47 of Nathan Nicholson. Words are hard tonight. And as well as his teammate, the 37 of Christopher Heller. 2 guys making their debut tonight and looking really strong out there.
Words are hard every night. Just period. That's just what it is. But anyway, pace truck lights stay on here, so we'll go one more lap. Looks like we'll have about an 11-lap shootout, so just shy of the 10-lap magic number, folks. And we got Worm saying, woohoo, number 47. Yeah, great showing here tonight for Nathan in that 47 car. Dana Himmelman rooting on Drew Himmelman, as always. Of course, Drew getting the Max Graphics Lucky Dog Award under this caution, trying to come home with a strong finish tonight in the National Ninja League 125. And it does look like those pace truck lights have indeed been extinguished. So, Bob, 11 laps. Izenga looks tough. You think anyone's going to be able to run him down? I know Gracias on those fresher tires. He could be in the catbird seat here, restarting there on the inside groove.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Gracias has some fresher tires. The 49 of Chris Stewart has been having an excellent race so far tonight. But that 17 of Ben Izenga really, really tough to beat. But you know what? Let's also not count out that 78 machine of Spencer Tart there on the inside. He's been quietly up front for most of this race. And one of the drivers that can really drive that car deep into the corner and still come out with plenty of momentum. So this is going to be a really good 11-lap shootout here to the finish.
And the 17 is on the loud pedal already, getting out to a jump on the number 49 and the number 78. Chris Stewart in that number 49 Toyota. There's contact between the 78 and the 49. They go up the racetrack back behind. That's going to allow Jason Gracias to scoot on through. The number 1 machine at least almost was able to scoot on through. There's more contact back there. That's Bobby Trapper getting into the outside wall. The back half of the field scatters. This is go time here at Gateway.
Field drives down now into turn number 3 as we look at the 49 and the 1 battling it out here for 4th place. A good look there on the inside by the 1, but the 49 has it covered as they head down the front straightaway. 10 laps to go here, and the caution is going to come out here at Gateway.
Yeah, something's happened in the back of the pack, and oh man, it's one of the drivers who was putting together such a great night. The number 35 machine, Lupe Gonzalez, right there. Oh, the 77 of Harvey might have come down the racetrack and gotten into the number 35 of Gonzalez. And oh man, that I think was the number 38, Vincent Valvano, getting a chunk of it. One of the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash drivers. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened here on the 3-wide TV replay. Watch the number 77 machine of David Harvey, the Hisense Toyota Supra. Looks like he just got a little bit out of the groove, makes heavy contact, and unfortunately, the 35 getting the bad end of that stick. Looks like the number 98 was able to save it. There's the 77 of Harvey going around. But as you can see, the 35 really, really tore up.
Yeah, just a whole lot of damage. It looks like the deck lid and the back bumper is just completely shorn off of that car.
Yeah, on board.
Right, on board.
Yeah, this is Lupe Gonzalez, and it gets turned around, and here comes a hard charging pack, and yeah, I think that was Ricky Williams and the number 38 of Vincent Valvano. We'll check and see what happened to them, because I think Vincent Valvano's night might was done here. That is a tough break, and we'll roll the tape here. Watch him. He's got the number 50 of Bill Edwards back behind him as well. You can see the accident happening, and oh man, nowhere for the 50 to go either. And oh man, just a little bit of bumper cars down there at the end. Looks like Harvey's engine is grenaded, but we're back under caution here at Gateway. And that's not what Jason Gracias wanted to see, because he was trying to get up to those positions, and it looks like he might be running out of time with this caution with those fresher tires. You see the number 39 machine pick up the Max Graphics Lucky Dog Award. That is Dustin Jones. We'll be back to 17 cars on the lead lap, although Lupe Gonzalez is one of those sitting on pit road right now. You can't see Lupe. There is Lupe. Getting it back rolling. Like you said, the back end's shorn off of it. The front end's shorn off of it, too. I mean, that thing's got nothing left. It looks a bit like a modified. In fact, that is the blandest rear end. Come on, iRacing. Can't you have a little bit better rear end damage model for that? But anyway, number 35 is back out there running.
You know, I was going to say the 35 looks a little bit like one of those modifieds, but I know the TNR modified series usually runs on Mondays, but it's usually the race before our race. But, oh, well, the 35 of Gonzalez out there as the pace truck ready to get the lights hopefully turned off this time around, and when they go back racing, it'll be a 6-lap shootout, hopefully, till the end of tonight's race. And as I say that, of course, the caution lights are still back on the truck. Yeah,
those caution lights continue to stay on, so we're looking at what will be presumably a 5-lap shootout now with those lights staying on. Ben Izenga has now locked up the most laps led. No one can catch him here tonight, so he will add to that points tally as your points leader coming into tonight. A very, very impressive start to the season for driver of the number 17 machine in the first 6 races. Make that 7 after tonight, assuming he's able to walk away with a strong finish. But anything can and will happen in racing. Ben Adams says, I wish Tana rooted for me on Fridays like she roots for Drew. She pulls for the son over the husband. Yep, Ben, sorry, that's the way it is. The Windsor's rooting. Where did Bill go in the number 50 machine? I was kind of curious to know why the number 50 of Edwards was so far back when that happened. Of course, there was that contact with the 20 of Freeman that he might have given himself a penalty and dropped to the rear end of the line. But, yeah, that number 50 now being scored well down in the pack. which is good for the Bill Edwards fans back at home, and now getting a big chunk of damage from that. Stephen Doziak says he got an EOL penalty. That means end of longest line penalty. So that must have been for that contact with Jason Freeman. Worm saying definitely good effort so far, number 4. Got that lucky dog. And Woo, number 47. Well, let's check in on that number 47. Nathan Nicholson right there. Looks like he's going to be restarting here on the outside of the third row. And that's actually a good spot to restart because that outside line has been very strong all night, but now Jason Gracias in the number 1 machine, he's on the outside line. He's going to be restarting in 4th here. That could be beneficial for him as he tries to run down not only Spencer Tart, Ben Izenga, and Chris Stewart because he wants to win this race.
Yeah, for sure, and he hasn't really had the best track position when it comes to restarting for these races, but now he's on the outside, 2nd row, and right behind the leader. And don't forget, the leader controls the restart. So he's right behind the leader, able to kind of watch him pull away and match Izinga. So this is a really good opportunity for that number 1 machine as they're getting ready to go green.
Pace truck heads down pit road. 5 laps to go. And we are back. Green flag. Ben Izenga already out to a big jump. Spencer Tart trying to hold on to 2nd. Looks like he's going to do so. But here comes Gracias. Gracias going to send it on that outside line. Looks like he's going to pick up 3rd, but he's not going to be able to pick up 2nd. That's what he wanted to do. Look at all those cars almost make contact with the outside wall a little bit further back in the pack.
Just some tight racing here as the field heads off into turn number 3. Ben Izinga still has the lead. Behind him is the 78 machine of Spencer Tart, and then the 1 of Jason Gracias right on Gracias's back bumper, but the caution flag comes out yet again, and it looks like there's a chance we could be going to overtime.
Overtime it will be. Andrew Himmelman in the number 4 machine. I believe there was a little bit of contact here with the number 69 machine, a little bit of a hip check. And Andrew Himmelman makes contact with the outside wall. It has not been his night here tonight, but once again gets away with not a whole lot of damage. The only thing I'm sure that will be a little bit bruised might be the ego of that number 4 machine because it just has not been his night. One more look at this as the 69 washes up the racetrack. You see that little bit of a bump. And unfortunately for the 4 of Himmelman, that is the outside wall. You do not want to see that here tonight.
And, unfortunately there for the 4 machine, 3rd time's the charm because we saw him spin a few times earlier in the race, twice actually to be exact. And 3rd time, unfortunately, he meets the wall just a little bit harder than the rest. And, oh man, just a tough break for that number 4 of Andrew Himmelman. Has a strong charge through the field, led a couple of laps, fell back, brought back up through the field. Narrowly missed a wreck earlier. Unfortunately, the cause of this caution. And with that now, 3 to go. Looks like we'll be heading over to overtime right now.
Yeah, but while we take the opportunity of having another yellow, there is the number 8 machine. Ricky Williams going to pick up your Max Graphix Lucky Dog Award under this caution. He will be the 18th car back onto the lead lap, working their way through turn number 3 and 4. Good looking hot rod. We've seen it a couple times here on the channel this year. In fact, I think so far been in every Total Nonstop Racing Grand National Series race and running just inside the top 20 here in tonight's National Ninja League 25. Make sure you go check out their website, like them on Facebook if you're into, the American Ninja Warrior stuff. Well, make sure you check out National Ninja League as well. And I know always expanding their boundaries, and great to have them on board here tonight at Gateway for what has been a very interesting race. We'll bring up the race summary for you because, we had 3 cautions in the first 30 laps. Now we've had about 5 cautions in about, I'd say the last 30 laps or so. But there was a lot of green flag running right there in the middle of the race. It's kind of looking like we might go caution-free to the end. That didn't happen. So these cautions, definitely breeding cautions in the end of the race. But Ben Izenga, fastest lap of the race. Your points leader coming into tonight and also has locked up the most laps. The most laps led in that NOS Energy Drink Toyota Camry. Very, very quick. 10 different lead changes here tonight. Ben Izenga has led 67 laps. Chris Stewart, 40 laps. David Harvey, 4. Andrew Himmelman, 4. Jason Gracias has led 4. Nathan Nicholson has led 3. Spencer Tart's led 1. And there have been, I think, a couple other leaders for a lap or 2 here tonight. But that is definitely going to be an interesting night. In fact, I'm getting word now that there has been 7 different leaders for those 10 lead changes here at Gateway Raceway. It says down there, Worldwide Technology Raceway. This track has been renamed, but I'll always know it as Gateway. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat will as well. And we want to thank each and every one of you in the chat for joining here tonight. We hit 750 subscribers here on the channel just today. And we want to thank each and every one of you who have hit that button to help make that possible. But, well, pace truck lights have finally turned off, and it looks like we're going to have a green-white checker here, Bob. Yeah,
and this is going to be a tense one. I mean, just taking a look at the front row now, 17 of Ben Izinga dominant pretty much all race long. The 78 of Spencer Tart has been holding strong on the bottom line. Had a great restart last time around, and looking to do so again. Taking a look at the second row, Jason Gracias, again, fresher tires than the rest, but he's stuck now down on the inside. But hey, who knows? Maybe the inside is kind of his go-to line to restart, because he's been doing a great job all race long being stuck down on that inside groove. So honestly, who knows at this point? And then Chris Stewart there on the outside of row number 2, dominant in the midsection of this race, and looking to try to capitalize on the performance here as the pace truck gets ready to pull off.
Green flag is in the flagman's hand, hopefully for what will be the final time here tonight. Your race leader, Ben Izenga, he's already on the loud pedal. He's going to jump away here to a big advantage over Spencer Tart and Chris Stewart there in the number 49 machine. Jason Gracias is now back into 4th. But what can they do with the race leader? Can they do anything as they race coming out of turn number 2?
And oh, trouble, the 47 gets turned in front of the field. Big crash as the rest of the field just piles off into him. And we'll have yet another caution.
Yeah,
man,
that is definitely a tough break for the 47 of Nathan Nicholson. Running right there with the number 25 of Chad Mikos, and there's definite contact, and you could see it was on from there. Christopher Heller scooting on through, and Kegman getting a chunk of the 47. Everyone getting a piece of that pie with the number 47 machine. Look at the 50 getting heavy damage. You see Mikos there going around. That was definite contact, but I think we're going to have to go to the blimp cam to see if we can sort this one out here, Bob, because the 25's down there on the inside, the 47's a groove or so up. 25's down there. 47, was there net code? No, it doesn't look like there was net code. I think that was just a situation where a couple of drivers kind of losing sight of the other one. And look at how many cars pile in. Look at the 99 there piling in. Here comes Kegman, Kathunk. Boy, oh boy, that was a big one here at Gateway.
Man, just what a great job car control there by the 55 of Steven Dosiak. Just barely got a little tap on the 99 of Philip Scott, and it looked like just everything kind of closed in around him that we saw there in that blimp shot. But man, just a tough break there for the 47. Had a great race going. Nathan Nicholson in his first race here on the Total Nonstop Racing League, as we get another replay here on the wall camera, and just a fantastic camera angle here as we see the 47, bam, get into the wall, and just like the Pied Piper leading everyone pretty much into calamity there, as the 55 somehow scrapes through with very minimal damage.
And just like that, we're going to have to re-rack them and do them all again. Nathan Nicholson in the 47 machine. What a great run he had going here tonight. What a tough break for that driver out of this great state of Georgia. It doesn't look like it will have the fruit that he was hoping it would have at the end of the night, but that has allowed a couple of the other drivers to scoot their way up through the field. I'm trying to see if we had a lucky dog under this caution flag. Don't believe we did get one of those lucky dogs. It would have been Vincent Valvano, but I think he got into that accident, therefore disqualifying himself from that lucky dog. Which is a tough break for the driver out of Pennsylvania. Driving the number 38 machine, trying to pick up the Chevy Shack Dash for cash, but wow, with all things considered, I missed the fact that the 69 machine of Bobby Trapper, something must have happened to Bobby Trapper. He must have been involved in one of those accidents, but he's off the racetrack. So Vincent Valvano might have just lucked himself into the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash money.
Wow, I did not see the 69 had gotten off or had any sort of trouble whatsoever, but wow, that pretty much came out of nowhere. It looked like Trapper had the Dash for Cash in hand, but he had some issues going on, and now Vincent Valvano looking like he might be able to hold on now to that Dash for Cash position.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we can figure out what happened to that number 69 machine. It happened just a couple of laps ago, and see if we can break down what went on. This was under caution flag. Fanatec number 69 machine. You see him right there. And he's at this point in the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash spot. Did he blow a motor or something under caution? There's not a whole lot of damage on that Chevy Camaro. He's pulling it over to the side of the racetrack. He's still working his way around. We're going to have to go back here very quickly. We'll see if we can speed this up a little bit, just because it looks like the pace truck lights have turned off. And coming down the front stretch, did he just lose connection or something? I don't know. Peels off the inside of the racetrack and slams on the brakes right in front of Mike Floppy Tellier. And just like that, his day was done. So not sure what he did. Ben Izenga, not quite sure what he's doing. Got a little exploring on the racetrack right there. But Ben Izenga is your race leader. And doesn't look like Vincent Valvano might be picking up that $10 there in the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash, because no other cars out there in the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash tonight. So we'll have to wait and see, though, who's going to walk away with a checkered flag, because we have 2 laps to go. It'll be the second attempt at a green-white checker right here on 3Wide TV.
Just a war of attrition now as the pace truck gets ready to pull off here. 17 of Ben Izenga gets on that loud pedal early, and he's going to jump this restart. Green flag is out. Izenga with a great start, but here's the one of Jason Gracias with another great restart, and he'll go side by side with Spencer Tart as the field dives off into turn number 1.
Yeah, and they're side by side for second. Gracias. Oh, the 78 of Tart with a big wiggle coming out of turn number 2, able to save it, but he's going to lose the position to Chris Stewart, as well. As you can see how many of those race cars back there are pretty heavily damaged. Ben Izenga, though, in the number 17 machine, trying to work his way, coming out of turn number 4, sees the white flag in the flagman's hand, and we have it. One more lap to go here at Gateway for the number 17 of Izenga. There is Gracias. Can he do anything? Remember, he's on fresher tires than the number 17. He sends it off into turn number 1 and 2, but not able to get on the loud pedal soon enough. It looks like Izenga's race to lose. Gracias going to throw a little bit of a block, a defensive line going off into turn number 3. Meanwhile, they're racing hard back behind him, but Stewart's got the line on the number 1 machine, Bob.
Side by side, diving off into turn number 3, coming out of turn number 4. Ben Izenga is going to get the win, but here they are, side by side, drag race down the front stretch, and, well, let's see. It looks like Stewart is going to get P2. Jason Gracias is going to go 3. Spencer Tart and Tristan Maher are going to be there and rounding out the top 5 for tonight's race.
Tristan Maher, where did he come from tonight? That Roush Ford Mustang able to come home with a top 5. Great run for him in the end. It's been an up-down night for him, but I'll tell you what, those front 4 drivers were really the class of the field here tonight. There is Izenga with the number 70 of Spencer Tart to his inside. Spencer saying, congratulations there, buddy. You're going to get to go to victory lane. And, yeah, that's one way to say thank you very much. Just give him a nice big shove.
Yeah, a couple of teammates just, battling back and forth to the line. But really a great win there by the 17 of Ben Izenga. Really dominated a lot of tonight's race. And now we'll see the nose-to-nose burnouts there between the 17 and the 78.
Yeah, great to see those teammates burning some rubber here for the fans and lighting up those rear tires. Look at all that smoke. Good old iRacing with it. It's not the best smoke in the world, but it does what it can. as those cars work their way through that smoke. It's a lot better than it was back in NR 2003, that's for sure. So we've made some improvements over the last almost 20 years. Crazy to think NR 2003 is almost 20 years old, but it is. And Ben Izenga, that number 17 machine, going to burn it down here on the front stretch for some more fans, as we got some post-race interviews lined up for you here, folks, on the channel. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, folks, so welcome back to 3Y TV, where tonight's race has come to its conclusion. And I believe that Bob Giaquinto has caught up with our third place finisher, driver of the number 1 machine, and your reigning Thornton Graphix Grand National Series champion, Jason Gracias. There, Bob.
Bob Giaquinto, Jason Gracias. Jason, great race ran here tonight. A very consistent race out there for you. Tell me about those last few laps. Looks like you wound up saving a set of tires, had fresher tires out there, and just tell me a little bit about that strategy there for the closing laps.
Um, the strategy only worked if you got green flag laps. One thing about iRacing is when you go back to green from a yellow, unless you're at a track like Atlanta or Texas or somewhere that eats tires, new tires don't really mean anything until you get 3 or 4 laps into a run. So I was really hoping to get at least like a 10 lap run in at the end, and I would have had something for Ben, but unfortunately I didn't get that. Ben basically trapped everybody by taking the high side every restart. So it was hard to pass on the inside unless you did a slide job.
And just talking about this track as well, Gateway. It's a challenging track, and we were mentioning throughout the broadcast how it's one of those tracks that it's either a track that you absolutely love or absolutely hate, and just a tough single groove track. What side of that party do you kind of stand? Do you love the track, hate the track, or is it just kind of one of those, it's a track feelings?
I actually like the tracks that tire wear matters, and after a while you can feel tires getting worn. So like Dover, Atlanta, Darlington. I like those kinds of tracks because they're fun. You slip and slide. So I was a fan of this track. You got tight here as the run progressed, and if you wanted to loosen up the car, all you had to do was downshift. So there's options there. You always play a brake bias, so I like these kinds of weird technical tracks.
Fair enough. And looking next week, we hit the Super Speedway at iRacing Super Speedway. More of it's the exhibition race here for the Total Nonstop Racing Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. What are you looking for that? Just a fun race out there, Super Speedway racing with everyone.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's open to whoever ran dirt and whoever ran a couple of races in the Xfinity series. So we're gonna switch it up, do some heat racing, and then a main feature, kind of like the dirt style does. I am going to sponsor each heat race, give $5 to the winner, and I'm going to sponsor that under Sim Shots. So if you need some iRacing pictures, everyone go to Sim Shots over Facebook. Check him out. Andrew's a good dude. Takes awesome pictures.
Awesome. And Jason, before we let you go, I know you got the shout out there for Sim Shots. Any more shout outs for us?
Yeah, thanks for everybody who makes this possible. Garrett Gleason for putting the league together and funding most of it out of his own. Billy Thornton Graphix, Dunn Raceway Park. Billy's a tremendous guy and makes an awesome trophy. So I'm excited to see what he does for this season's league winner. If you need anything done signage wise, go check him out. Thanks to you guys through ITV for the broadcast. You, Bob, and Peter do an excellent job. I'm glad Peter's back and safe after what happened in Texas. And thanks to Chris Darling for this sick paint scheme. We miss you out there, Chris. Hope to see you soon.
That's for sure. And Jason, congrats on the third place finish, and looking forward to seeing you out there on the track at iRacing Super Speedway next week.
Thanks, guys. Everyone, come out, check it out. And if I don't talk to you then, until then, have a great weekend, everyone.
All right, well, folks, that's going to do it for our third place finisher here tonight, Jason Gracias. But let's see if we can dial up driver of the number 49 machine coming home in second here tonight. Led 40 laps, but just coming up one spot too short here tonight. Chris, Peter Short here in the 3-Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Well, like I said, you led a good portion of laps here tonight, and at one point looked like you were the odds-on favorite, but some different pit strategies out there. You were up to a 6-second lead at one point. Anything you think you could have done different here tonight?
Yeah. Unchecked my tires on the first pit stop. I forgot to do that. So I tried to get everything I could out of that and kind of play the double stint that second set and maybe pit as soon as the window opened up for freshies there at the end, but cautions kind of threw a wrench in that plan. Yeah.
Well, yeah, cautions definitely bred cautions there at the end of the race. We saw how difficult it was to pass out there. How did that factor into your game plan here tonight? And did those caution flags kind of, did you think that they kind of settled it with how you restarted there and in what spot you restarted for those final 5 restarts right there towards the end of the race?
Yeah. It just seemed like, between me and Jason, whoever started in fourth, ended up with the spot there. I kind of, on that last one there, kind of got lucky and got past Spencer there. And then I got a pretty good run at a 2, which ultimately got me up to second. But yeah, it just seemed like the outside line was far superior. And if you're on the bottom in 1 and 2, there's really, nothing you could do other than try not to slide up into the guy. But I think if it would have went a long run, it would have been a lot better for me. I really liked how that car felt there around lap 60 on those tires. So,
Well, we mentioned to Jason that this is one of the trickier tracks to come to, very technical racetrack with turn number 1 and 2 being fairly sharp. You have to shift coming out of turn number 2, get that thing up to 4th gear, and then turn number 3 and 4, very wide, very flat. What are your thoughts about this racetrack? It's a very technical one, that's for sure.
definitely, I love this track. Didn't start out that way, but then I realized, you got to shift to drive the place. And once I started doing that, yeah, I really love this place. It's actually been a really good track for me historically, so I was pretty confident coming in tonight.
Well, definitely you showed your prowess in that Toyota Supra here tonight. But of course, next week we go to Coca-Cola Super Speedway. All bets are off. A little bit of money on the line here next week. You looking forward to taking off the restrictor plate and going at it next week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I, like a lot of other people, absolutely love that place on NASCAR 2003, and I'm actually kind of happy it's on iRacing. Kind of brings back the old Papyrus days, which is good, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm calling it iRacing Super Speedway or Coca-Cola Super Speedway, but it's the same racetrack known as Coca-Cola Super Speedway back in the NR days, and iRacing Super Speedway here in iRacing. But I'll tell you what, Chris, it's going to be a fun one next week, money on the line, and hopefully you're able to get back to a podium finish and possibly even get to go to Victory Lane next week and earn some extra cash. So definitely going to be a fun one. Before we let you go, any shout-outs?
It'd be nice to win some cash, but yeah, Jimmy Babs there, Doc, Ryan, DeMarco, Jerry Glenn, everybody over it. I guess we have a name now. Another bad decision. I wasn't there for that decision, but hey, there we are. Yeah, and really like to say, hey Jimmy, you missed a good race. I know you're busy in the shop cheating up a real car, but you could have took time off.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Always good to be working on a real car, and as well as, of course, out here in iRacing having a good time. But Chris, best of luck next week at iRacing Super Speedway, not Coca-Cola Super Speedway, although I'm sure I'll be calling it both next week. Best of luck then, and until we meet again, good luck.
Yeah, you bet. Hopefully I'm talking to you guys next week, and hey, don't feel bad. I still call these cars the Bush cars, so I feel you.
There we go. All right, folks, that's our second place finisher, Chris Stewart, and I believe that Bob Giaquinto has caught up with tonight's race winner and points leader, Ben Izenga.
Well, Ben Izenga, Bob Giaquinto up here in the 3-Wide TV booth. Another dominant performance out there for you. 76 laps led, 4 straight podiums. 3 of those are wins. I guess the only thing that I can ask is, where do you go from here? Just pure dominance so far this season here at the Total Nonstop Racing League.
I'm fortunate enough to have the last few races go my way, and 3 of them go to win. So that was awesome. Last week was a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish for our team, so that was fantastic. We were all super excited about that. But yeah, just got to keep having things go my way. I'm super fortunate, and hopefully I can keep it up.
Fair enough. And just take me back through those restarts, especially there at the end of the race. A whole bunch of cautions coming out towards the end of the race. How nerve-wracking was it? I know as the leader, you get the perks of being able to choose your lane and able to choose that high side. And how much of that was an advantage of being able to do the restart from the outside line?
I mean, going into 1 and 2, especially coming off 2, the top was the place to be. As far as the launch went, out of 4 down the front stretch, it wasn't a huge deal. I was able to get it down the bottom, I think, a time or 2 as well. But yeah, I had my teammate Spencer Tart there in second for most of those restarts at the end, so we were just kind of having fun with each other.
Definitely, and you could even tell, just like maybe a little bit of the gamesmanship for lack of a better phrase, of when you were able to launch off. And Spencer a few times was able to get up there right alongside of you, but for the most part, those restarts were absolutely phenomenal. And from at least up here in the booth, it looked like a big key to your success. But just take me through the opening few laps as well. Led the entire first stage. Able to get out. You started second, had a great start to the race again on the upper line. Just a great first stage, and ended up closing things out here, leading 76 laps.
All these races where I'm fortunate enough to win, it's just kind of everything has to go right at the same time. And tonight I was lucky enough to have that happen again. Just kind of doing my best, putting the laps in through the week and in the practice session before the race, and everything just kind of adds up. And yeah, lucky enough for everything to go perfectly.
Taking a look at the schedule for next week, an exhibition race at iRacing Super Speedway, or Coca-Cola Super Speedway back in the NRO 3 days. What are your thoughts heading into that? Just a fun race, looking to pick up some extra cash. What are you looking forward to the most out there for that race?
As of right now, I don't have that track, so I not sure if I'm going to make it for that one or not, but yeah, we'll see.
Fair enough. And before we let you go, Ben, any shout outs for us?
Got to thank all my guys on my team, S2R, Bill, James, Spencer. We've had Dustin Jones in there a couple times this week, or this season, in our Discord, so he's been nice to talk to as well. Nice guy. You guys for broadcasting, you do an amazing job every week. All the guys who run this league, they do an awesome job as well. It's a fantastic league to race in. All the sponsors who invest in the league, we wouldn't be able to do it without them. We wouldn't be able to have such a good league without them. So obviously got to thank them for that as well.
Awesome. Well, Ben, congratulations on the win. 3 out of the last 4 races. And looking forward to hopefully seeing you out there at the track, if not in a couple weeks at Richmond.
Yes.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for tonight's race winner, Ben Izenga. Another dominating performance in that number 17 machine. But I'll tell you what, Bob, it's about time for us to do the wrap-up duty and go through tonight's final race results. Taking home the win, Ben Izenga in that number 17 machine. Chris Stewart coming home in second. Jason Gracias, your reigning series champion, in third. Spencer Tart coming home in fourth. Tristan Maher in fifth. Christopher Heller, sixth. Dustin Jones in seventh. Philip Scott, eighth. Andrew Himmelman able to rebound for a top 10 there in ninth. And Bill Edwards running at your top 10 there, Bob.
Finishing off in 11th, the 20 of Jason Freeman, the 8 of Ricky Williams in 12th. Chad Mikos, 13th. Nathan Mickelson, just a tough break there. Had a great run so far earlier in the race, but unfortunately got caught up in one of the later wrecks. Finished 14th. Garrett Gleason, 15th. Stephen Dosiak Jr. in 16th. Lupe Gonzalez, 17th. And Stephen Kegman, the first car, one lap down, in 18th. And the winner of the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash, the 38 machine of Vincent Valvano, finishes up in 19th, and DeMarco Starks in 20th.
Finishing in the 21st position, Bobby Trapper, Floppy Tellier coming home 22nd, David Harvey 23rd, James Lorello 24th, Johnny Williams 25th, making his return to Total Nonstop Racing League. Tony Lucarelli and Brian Rubel, both of those drivers not starting here tonight, finishing 26th and 27th. So 25 cars got out there on the racetrack. 27 cars were in the session in practice. But that man right there, Ben Izenga, taking home the win here on 3 Wide TV once again. Before we go, we want to give a big shout out to our race sponsor, National Ninja League, Dunn Raceway Park. You see their logo up in the top left-hand corner. Indoor off-road racing in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. Also a big shout out to the series sponsor, Thornton Graphix, for sponsoring the Thornton Graphix Grand National Series. But Bob, the Shibby Shack Dash for Cash, that money's going to Vinny Valvano this week.
It is, and he had a great race, very consistent. Bobby Trapper and him pretty much battled it out for the majority of this race. Unfortunately, the 43 of Johnny Williams had some issues early on in the race and had to retire from it. But a good battle there, and Vinny Valvano is going to walk away $10 in iRacing dollars richer. And
there you go, folks. Big shout out to our friends over at SimTV for the camera angles we bring you each and every week here on the channel. Great YouTube channel to go subscribe to, so make sure you go check them out for all of their iRacing broadcasts, as well as some real-world broadcasts as well. They made that jump. They've gone from iRacing to the real world, and who knows, maybe one of these days we'll do it here on 3 Wide TV. We'll figure that one out in the future, but for myself, Peter Short, Bob Giaquinto, folks, have a good night, and we shall see ya!